The city was quiet that evening, the sun setting behind tall buildings, casting long shadows on the empty streets. John, a young human engineer, walked home after a long day at work, feeling tired but looking forward to some rest. As he passed an old alley, a soft sound caught his attention, a faint whisper, almost like a small voice calling for help. Curious and a little worried, John slowed down and looked around, but no one was in sight. Then he saw a small figure sitting on the ground, hiding behind some crates, barely taller than a child. It was a girl, but not like any human girl he had seen before. She was only about 4 feet tall, with bright green skin that shimmered slightly in the fading light. Her eyes were large and golden, full of fear and hope at the same time. John took a step closer and spoke softly. "Hey, are you okay? What are you doing here all alone?" The girl looked up, surprised, but she did not run away. Instead, she spoke in a quiet voice. "Please don't hurt me." "I need help," John nodded, his heart filling with concern. "I won't hurt you." "What's your name?" She paused, then whispered, "My name is Lyra." John smiled gently. "All right, Lyra, let's get you somewhere safe." As he helped her up, John felt something strange, a sudden calm that washed over him, almost like Lyra's presence was soothing his mind. He didn't understand it, but he shook the feeling off and started walking toward his apartment. On the way, John asked, "How did you get here? Are you from around here?" Lyra looked down, then back. "Up, I'm not from here. I come from far away, a place called Zira." John's eyes widened. "Zira? That sounds like something from a storybook." Lyra smiled faintly. "It's real, but very different from your world." John wanted to ask more, but the moment was broken as a strange sound echoed nearby, like a low humming noise. Both of them stopped and looked around, but no one was there. Lyra grabbed John's arm tightly. "We have to hurry," she said urgently. John nodded, feeling the weight of her fear. When they reached his apartment, John locked the door behind them and offered her some water. Lyra took it slowly, watching him carefully. John noticed that despite her small size, there was something very strong about her, a quiet power that he could not explain. Over the next few minutes, John tried to learn more about her, but Lyra was careful not to reveal too much. She said only that she was running from people who wanted to capture her, and that her powers were dangerous if used wrong. John wanted to believe her, but part of him wondered if she was hiding something bigger, something he could not understand yet. That night, John barely slept, thinking about Lyra and the strange calm she brought. At one point, he felt as if he was not completely himself. His thoughts seemed influenced by a gentle force guiding him. He wondered if it was real or just his imagination. The next morning, when John woke up, Lyra was gone. Confused and worried, he searched the apartment but found only a small note in her handwriting. It read, "Thank you for your kindness. I will return when the time is right." John held the note tightly, feeling a mix of hope and fear. Days passed and strange things started happening in John's life. People he had never met seemed to watch him, and sometimes he felt like he was not in control of his own actions. One evening, while walking home, John saw a news report about a missing alien girl who was only 4 feet tall. His heart raced as he realized it was Lyra. He also learned that powerful groups were searching for her to use her powers for their own gain. John knew then that Lyra's secret was bigger than he had imagined. She was not just a small alien girl. She had the power to change everything around her, including John's life. But the biggest question remained: why did she trust him? And what did she really want from him? John decided he had to find out, no matter the cost. He knew that meeting Lyra was only the beginning of something much larger, something that could change the world forever. As night fell again, John looked out his window toward the stars, hoping to see Lyra's small figure returning. He whispered to himself, "I'm ready for whatever comes next." John could not forget the strange feeling Lyra left behind when she disappeared that morning. His mind was restless, filled with questions and worries. He tried to focus on his work, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the small alien girl. Why did she trust him so quickly? What was this power she spoke about? And why did he feel like something inside him was changing without his control? Days after Lyra's visit, John noticed subtle changes around him. At first, it was small things, a light turning on without touch, a door opening by itself. He thought he was imagining things, but then the strange calm feeling returned, stronger. This time, he tried to fight it, but it was like a gentle hand holding his mind, guiding his actions. He walked faster, looked around carefully, and whispered, "Lyra, is this you?" That night, as he lay in bed, John heard a soft voice in his head. It was Lyra's voice, clear but calm. "John, do not be afraid. I am here with you." His heart pounded. Was this real or a dream? He sat up and looked around the dark room. But no one was there. The voice continued, "My power connects us. It helps me protect you, but it can be too strong sometimes." John felt a mix of fear and wonder. How can this be? How can you control my mind without being here? He asked silently. "I am closer than you think," the voice whispered. "And my control will grow, whether you want it or not." John knew then that Lyra's power was not just about her small body or her green skin. It was something deeper, something that could change people's thoughts and actions. He wanted to resist, but he was afraid of losing himself. He did not want to become a puppet in her hands, but he also wanted to protect her. He wondered, was she really a friend, or was she using him for her own goals? The next day, strange events increased. At work, John's colleague suddenly stopped arguing with him. The normally loud and stubborn man became calm and quiet. John saw the same calm feeling in his eyes like the one Lyra gave him. He felt a chill run down his spine. Was Lyra controlling others too? After work, John decided to visit a small bookstore where he hoped to find answers. He looked for books about alien powers, mind control, and anything related to Lyra's world. An old man working there noticed John's search and smiled mysteriously. "You seek knowledge of the mind and its bonds, young man," he said. John nodded. "Yes, I need to understand something strange that is happening to me." The old man looked deep into John's eyes. "Some powers connect souls across space and time. They can bind or free, depending on the will of the one who holds them." John listened carefully. But what if the power grows too strong? What if I lose myself? The old man's face grew serious. "Then you must find the balance, or the power will consume you." John thanked the man and left the bookstore feeling more confused, but also a little hopeful. He knew he had to meet Lyra again, to understand the limits of her control. But he also knew it would not be easy. There were others who wanted to find her. They wanted to use her power for war and destruction. And if John was connected to her, he was in danger too. That evening, as John walked through the city, he felt the calm again, stronger than before. Suddenly, he stopped, his body moving without his full permission. His eyes fixed on a dark alley where shadows moved quickly. He wanted to turn away, but his legs took him forward. Inside the alley, two men waited with strange devices shining. With blue light, they looked dangerous, and John felt their eyes on him. His heart raced, but his body remained calm, almost as if controlled by Lyra. The men spoke quietly. "We know you're connected to the alien girl. Come with us, and no one gets hurt." John wanted to refuse, but his mind felt weak. Then, out of the shadows, a small figure appeared. Lyra, her green skin glowing softly. She stood between John and the men, her eyes fierce and full of power. "I will not let you take him," she said firmly. The men hesitated. Sensing her power was not to be ignored, Lyra reached out, and a wave of calm washed over the men. They dropped their devices and fled into the night. John looked at Lyra with a mix of relief and fear. "Why did you bring me here?" he asked. Lyra's voice was soft but strong. "Because you belong with me, John, and my power needs you." John swallowed hard. "But I want to be free. I don't want to be controlled." Lyra smiled sadly. You will have freedom when the time is right, but for now, you must trust me. John realized that his life was no longer his own. He was bound by a power he did not fully understand. But somehow he felt hope in that bond. He wondered what the future held for him. For Lyra, and for the world around them, the small alien girl who controlled everything was not just a mystery anymore. She was a force that would change his life forever. After the encounter in the alley, John felt both safer and more confused than ever. Lyra's power was real and strong, but there was still so much he didn't understand. He wanted to know why she was here on Earth, and what she really wanted. One thing was clear: she was running from something, or someone, powerful and dangerous. John spent days searching for any clue about Lyra's past. He visited old libraries, talked to experts, and scanned every message he could find on the internet. Most information about aliens was hidden or locked away in secret files. But John never gave up, driven by a strange bond he could not explain. One evening, while studying a dusty book on alien species, he found a symbol that looked like a glowing spiral. It matched a small tattoo on Lyra's wrist, which she had shown him briefly during their first meeting. John's heart raced. He knew this symbol meant something important. He decided to dig deeper and discovered a hidden message in the book, written in a language he did not understand. With the help of an online translator, the message read, "The spirals mark those chosen by Zyra's council, destined to protect the balance or bring destruction." John thought of Lyra's world, Zyra, and her powers. Was she one of these chosen ones? If so, what balance was she trying to protect? And who wanted to destroy her? Before he could answer, John received a call from a stranger. A woman with a calm but serious voice introduced herself as Dr. Mira Collins, an expert in alien biology and history. She said she had been tracking unusual energy signals linked to Zyra's people. She warned John that the groups hunting Lyra were not only military, but also secret organizations that wanted to use her power for their own gain. John listened carefully, feeling both relieved and afraid to find an ally, but also knowing that danger was closer than ever. Dr. Collins invited John to meet her at a safe place, a small research lab hidden inside the city. John agreed, hoping to learn more about Lyra and how to protect her. When John arrived, he saw walls covered with alien artifacts and data screens showing images of strange planets. Dr. Collins showed him detailed pictures of Zyra's people, tall, graceful beings with glowing marks like Lyra's spiral tattoo. She explained that these markings were a sign of ancient powers passed through generations. But she warned, those who have this power are hunted because their control can tip the balance of peace and war in the galaxy. John asked, what balance? What war? Dr. Collins looked serious. There is a hidden war between factions across the stars. Zyra's council wants to keep peace, but others want to use these powers for conquest. John thought of Lyra and her kindness, her quiet strength. Was she the key to ending this war, or the weapon that could start it? Suddenly, an alarm blared in the lab. Dr. Collins said, "They found us." "We don't have much time." John grabbed a small device from the table, a tracker linked to Lyra's energy signature. He knew this was his chance to find her again. Dr. Collins warned, "Be careful, John. These people are dangerous and will stop at nothing." John nodded, determined to protect Lyra no matter the cost. Using the tracker, John followed the signals to an abandoned factory on the edge of the city. The air was thick with tension, and shadows moved in every corner. John felt the strange calm again, guiding him closer to Lyra. Then he saw her small and brave standing in the middle of the large room. Her eyes glowed golden as she faced a group of armed men, ready to capture her. Lyra's voice was calm but strong. "I do not want to fight, but I will defend myself." John stepped forward. "Leave her alone." "She's not your weapon," the leader of the men sneered. "She is more than that. She is the key to power beyond your imagination." John's heart pounded as the men advanced. Lyra raised her hand, and a bright light filled the room. The men froze, held back by a force they could not break. John realized that Lyra's power was not only control but protection. In that moment, John understood the weight of Lyra's secret. She was not just a small alien girl, she was a guardian of peace and power. But the forces chasing her wanted to use her for destruction. John knew their fight was only beginning. He looked at Lyra and whispered, "We will face them together." Lyra smiled softly. "Together we are stronger." As the men retreated, John felt a new courage rising in his chest. He was ready to learn the truth and protect the girl who controlled everything he did. No matter the cost, after the tense encounter at the abandoned factory, John knew nothing would ever be the same again. He and Lyra were now targets for powerful groups who wanted to control her mysterious power. But something unexpected happened. Lyra saved John's life. They had barely escaped the factory when a group of armed men ambushed them on the dark street. John was outnumbered and about to be captured. Then, without warning, Lyra's eyes glowed bright gold. A wave of energy burst from her hands, pushing the attackers back like a strong wind. John watched in awe as the tiny alien girl showed strength he never imagined. "Are you okay?" Lyra asked, her voice soft but full of concern. John nodded, still catching his breath. He felt both grateful and scared, grateful that she saved him. Scared because her power was growing and he was losing control over his own actions for days. After that night, John found himself waking in the middle of the night, confused and unsure of what he had done or said. He feared the power Lyra held over him was slipping beyond his control. It was as if his own mind was becoming a battlefield. Part of him wanted freedom. The other part wanted to stay close to Lyra. Lyra noticed the change in John and tried to reassure him. "You're stronger than you think, John," she said gently. "But my power touches you deeply because we are connected. It is not control to harm, but a bond to protect." John wanted to believe her, but every time he felt the strange calm that made his decisions easier for her, he wondered if he was losing his own free will. Meanwhile, the city around them began to change. Reports of strange events, increased power outages, sudden floods, and unexplainable lights in the sky. People whispered about an alien presence, some afraid, others curious. John knew these were signs of Lyra's power stretching beyond what she could control. It was clear the forces chasing her were also becoming more desperate. They wanted to capture Lyra before her power changed the city forever. One evening, John and Lyra met in a quiet park to discuss their next move. John said, "We can't hide anymore. They will find us, and it will only get worse." Lyra nodded. "I want to help you, but I can't let them take me." John looked at her small face, full of determination. "I want to trust you, Lyra, but sometimes I feel like I'm losing myself." Lyra reached out and took his hand. "I won't let that happen," she promised. Their moment was broken when a group of strangers appeared at the park's edge. John recognized them as agents from a secret organization. They carried weapons and advanced technology designed to capture aliens. John and Lyra had no time to run. The agents closed in slowly, careful not to start a fight. John felt his heart pounding, but he stayed calm. Lyra whispered, "Trust me." Suddenly, a shield of golden light surrounded them, blocking the agents' advance. Lyra's power had grown strong enough to protect them. One of the agents shouted, "We need reinforcements. Don't let them escape." John and Lyra looked at each other, understanding they had to act fast, using her power. Lyra created a small burst of energy that knocked the agents back. They ran through the dark streets, trying to lose their pursuers. As they hid in an old warehouse, John asked, "How are you doing this?" "Your power is incredible," Lyra sighed. "I don't fully understand it myself. My people from Zira passed this power to me to protect peace. But sometimes it feels like a heavy burden." John looked at her with respect. "You're stronger than you know," Lyra smiled weakly. "And you're braver than I expected." The bond between them grew deeper that night. John realized that despite the control Lyra had over his mind, he had never felt more alive or connected to someone. They were no longer just human and alien. They were partners facing a dangerous world together. But John also knew the coming days would test their strength. The secret forces chasing Lyra would not stop until they had her power, and John's struggle to keep his own mind would only get harder. He whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." John's mind felt heavy as the days passed. The strange calm that came from Lyra's power was growing stronger. Sometimes he felt like a passenger in his own body. His thoughts clouded, his decisions guided by a force he could not control. He knew he had to find a way to break free, or he would lose himself completely. One morning, John met Dr. Mira Collins again. She was the expert who had warned him about the dangers of alien powers. John said, "Mira, I can't live like this anymore. I want my mind back." Mira nodded. "I understand. John, the bond you share with Lyra is strong, but not unbreakable." She explained that the control Lyra had was a mix of power and trust. If John could strengthen his own mind, he might resist the influence without losing their connection. Mira gave John a device, a small headset designed to train the brain and help resist outside control. John was skeptical but willing to try anything. He began using the device daily, focusing on clearing his mind and strengthening his will. At first, the sessions were hard, and John felt more confused. But slowly, he started noticing changes. He could think more clearly, his own voice louder in his head. Meanwhile, Lyra watched John with concern. She knew he was trying to free himself, but she worried that without her power, he might be in danger from those who hunted her. One evening, she said softly, "John, you don't have to do this alone." John looked at her. "I want to be with you, Lyra, but I need to be myself too." Their bond was strong, but the struggle between control and freedom grew every day. As John's strength grew, the danger outside increased. The groups chasing Lyra became more aggressive, attacking places where they thought she might be. John and Lyra had to move constantly, never safe for long. One night, while hiding in an old building, John's device beeped urgently. Mira's voice came through. "John, I have news. There's a way to weaken Lyra's control in ancient Zera ritual, but it's risky and could change everything." John and Lyra exchanged worried looks. Could they risk it? They decided to try. Lyra led John to a hidden cave outside the city, where her people had performed the ritual long ago. The air was thick with energy, and strange symbols glowed on the walls. Lyra began chanting in her language, her voice echoing through the cave. John felt the power around him grow. Then, suddenly, a bright light surrounded them both. John's mind raced as he felt the bond loosen. He was free at last, but freedom came with a price. Lyra's power also weakened, and the calm that protected them faded. Outside, the sounds of approaching enemies grew louder. John realized they were more vulnerable now. He grabbed Lyra's hand. "We have to fight together," Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with determination. In the battle that followed, John used his new strength and clarity. He fought alongside Lyra, no longer controlled but fully himself. They defeated their attackers, but the fight was far from over. John knew that breaking free was only the first step. They had to find a way to protect Lyra's power without losing themselves. As the sun rose, John and Lyra sat together, exhausted but hopeful. John whispered, "I'm glad to be free, but I don't want to lose you." Lyra smiled. "We will find a way, together." Their journey was far from finished, but for the first time, John felt he had control of his own life. The days after the ritual were tense and full of uncertainty. John and Lyra now shared a new kind of bond, one built on trust rather than control. But the peace was fragile. The enemies who wanted Lyra's power had not given up. They were preparing their final move, and John knew that soon everything would come to a head. One evening, Lyra sat quietly staring at the stars. John joined her and asked, "What is your real goal, Lyra? Why are they after you so badly?" Lyra's eyes were heavy with sadness. "My people are dying in a war far from here. I was sent to Earth to find a way to save them. But the power I carry can destroy as much as it can save." There are forces who want to use it for destruction, and others who want to protect peace at any cost. John listened carefully, understanding the weight of her mission. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the building where they hid. Their enemies had found them again. John grabbed Lyra's hand tightly. "We have to decide now. Do you want me to surrender fully to your power, to use it with you and face the war ahead? Or do I fight for my own freedom, even if it means losing you?" Lyra looked into his eyes. "This is your choice, John. I will stand by you, whatever you decide." The decision was harder than John imagined. He wanted to help Lyra save her people, but he also feared losing himself completely. He thought of the times when he felt like a puppet, controlled and powerless, but he also remembered the moments of true connection and strength. Could he find a way to be both free and connected? The night grew darker as John struggled with his thoughts. Lyra stayed silent, letting him find his own path. Finally, John spoke. "I choose to fight with you, but on my own terms. I will not lose myself. We will face this together, as equals." Lyra smiled, a tear shining in her eye. "You are stronger than I thought, John. Together, we can change the fate of my people and this world." Their enemies burst into the room, weapons ready, but John and Lyra were prepared. Lyra's power glowed fiercely. John stood beside her, steady and strong. They fought side by side, their bond unbreakable. The battle was fierce, but their courage won. After the fight, John looked at Lyra with new respect. They had faced the ultimate choice and found a new path. The future was uncertain, but they were ready, together. They would protect the balance, and no matter what came next, they would stand as one. The battle had left scars on both John and Lyra, but their bond had never been stronger. Together, they had faced impossible odds and survived. Yet the future was still unclear. The city around them slowly healed from the chaos. But the secret war for Lyra's power was far from over. John stood beside Lyra on a rooftop, looking out at the glowing city lights. He felt a new sense of purpose in his heart, no longer controlled or afraid. He was a partner to the small alien girl who held so much power. Lyra smiled softly. "This is only the beginning, John," she said. "We have much to do." Suddenly, a soft wind whispered through the night. A signal from Zira, Lyra's people, were waiting for her, and their message was clear. It was time to return and face the challenges of her home world. John's heart sank. He did not want to lose her, but he understood her duty. Before she left, Lyra placed her hand on John's chest, her golden eyes shining with warmth and promise. "No matter where I go, our bond will remain. You have changed my fate, and I have changed yours." John nodded, feeling tears sting his eyes. "I will wait for you, and when you return, we will face the stars together." With a flash of light, Lyra vanished. John was left standing alone. But stronger than ever, he knew their story was far from over. The small alien girl who once controlled everything in his life had become his greatest ally. And now they were bound by trust, friendship, and hope. Days turned into months. John worked to prepare for Lyra's return. He helped build a team of allies who believed in their cause together. They studied Zira's technology and prepared for the battles ahead. The world was changing, and so was John one night. As John looked up at the stars, a familiar glow appeared in the sky. Lyra was coming back. His heart raced with excitement and hope. He knew the future was bright, because together they could overcome anything. Their new beginning had arrived, and the universe was waiting for their story to unfold.